r/AskReddit. What activity in PE were you surprised that you were good at? This is not really PE, but I did track and tried running. I was good at sprinting, and not good enough to run the events, but I didn't give up. That is when I saw pole vaulting. I was really good, and got over my feet in the first 5 minutes after learning how to hold the pole. So close I was to making it to district, but I have enough practice. I was only 1 inch away from not hitting the bar. When we did elasticity tests I did pretty damn good, top 3, if I remember correctly, which was surprising because I was pretty bad at anything sports related. I also turned out to be decent at volleyball when almost everyone in class was really, really bad. Sadly, people in my class didn't consider anything other than football a real sport. Basketball barely qualified because girls were just as good as boys and so they considered it a girly sport. So technically, I still sucked at sports. As a dorky, lanky, uncoordinated nerdy 8th phraser I remember one particular game is dodgeball where the jocks could not hit me to save their lives. It lasted like 25 long minutes and I just kept dodging. They were getting frustrated, calling me gay slurs, but I managed to dodge every last ball. It was like I had a force field and they were all throwing left-handed. I remember the coach eventually stopped it. Oddly enough, being good at sports on that one occasion did not make me popular. High jump. I was a natural at it. The majority of people did the scissor jump to get over the bar, I did the professional way of doing it. In year 7 I was the 3rd best. It had gotten to the point in year 8 and 9 where the pay staff would look forward to seeing me do it, which eventually would have allowed me to represent my house for sports day, but I ended up suffering from hay fever, which would have put me off my game. Shame, because it was when I was killing it at pay. Shot put. I became my school's sole member of their shot put team. I did it once for PE. I amazed my teacher at how much better than everyone else I was at it. They instantly signed me up for the team there and then. There was never any training, and in the 6 years I was on the team there was no sporting events I had to attend. So I retired reigning champion, or it turns out nobody gave a frick about shot put back then. Either way it suited me down to the ground. Not sure if it counts, since it was more a school sports excursion than actual pay, but windsurfing. All my classmates couldn't even get the windsurfers upright, I just casually windsurfed across the entire river and back again on my first try. And number X200B. I'm sure I couldn't do it now but it was nice to be good at something physical for a change. Beep test. When we still had compulsory pay lessons in high school I could comfortably keep up and last longer than some of the other students who would be in the first 15 and 11, rugby and soccer, teams and distance squad. I ended up leaning into the whole lazy teenage stereotype but it was always a nice memory knowing I could outlast the school's top athletes. Long distance running, the super sprinter of the group didn't think I could do 8 laps to 3 big football fields, a training one or something. Surprisingly I did it, and then we did 10, and I passed every day running for the ultimate challenge. 1-2 laps. Did it with no major hesitation and the teacher told me I didn't seem very tired. Not in pay. But a few weeks ago I visited some friends in France and played a weird version of dodgeball called Ballon Auxiliary Prisonniers, prison ball, where if you get hit you go to the back of the court but are still part of the game. I've never played dodgeball in my life and I was shat at throwing, but I was surprisingly good at not getting hit. I was the last person left on my team a few times and managed to turn the game around. High jump. I had no experience prior. Bad at running, terrible stamina and just toughed about video games all day long. Did not take me more than a few jumps to realize doing the back jump, there was a term for this, it's like a shoddy backflip and lands on your back, was far easier than trying get my whole body above the bar at the same time. I would just curve over the bar. Archery. I have terrible hand-eye coordination, but I discovered I was surprisingly adept at aiming. At first I was terrible, but I switched to aiming with my left eye and left hand, despite being right-handed, and the improvement was massive. This came in handy years later when we had an office competition to shoot our director in the forehead with a Nerf dart. This was his idea. Stunned the team when I nailed him in the head since I was generally a maladroit. The only thing that comes to mind is deadlifting, weirdly enough. We did weightlifting in gym class one year in high school and I realized really quickly that I can't lift up while laying on my back to save my life, but the coach had me do a deadlift once for some reason. I think maybe he was trying to make some sort of point to one of the guys, and I don't recall how much weight I lifted, but it was definitely more than I would have guessed myself capable of. Hurdles. I remain mystified by this to this day. Standing jump? You could use me as proof that white guys can't jump. Running. 30 seconds full tilt will leave me winded for 12 hours. Yet to this day, if I have even just a fast walk of a start, I can hurdle over anything 4 feet or so or less without trouble. Fence, mailbox, whatever, don't even have proper form, just stepping jump over. One, I thought I suck at basketball cause I always plays with street ballers along our neighborhood, but when we had basketball included in our pay, I was so surprised that my class finds me athletic. 2, never had an experience touching a boxing gloves, but when me and my bully younger brother agreed to a boxing match, I beat his ass and he got upset and cried. Ha ha ha, I am a junior black belt in Taekwondo, so basically I believe it helped me on my footwork during the match. Punting a football. I sucked at everything football related until I was like 16. One day we were doing a punt, pass, and kick challenge during gym class, and while I couldn't throw or kick the ball very well, I suddenly figured out that I was a pretty great punter for whatever reason. Could easily hit 45 to 50 yards regularly at 16 with basically no coaching. I was the football team's punter the following season, haha. Netball and badminton. I was never a sporty person, and when we played netball in high school it was my first time playing and I was put in goal defense against a guy who was 2 heads taller than me and a very sporty person. I had no idea what to say when he complained about being put against someone who played netball when I still didn't even really understand the rules. I guess I was just good at getting in the way. White boy, went to an inner city middle school that attracted a bunch of suburban white kids. They're called magnet schools here. However, in pay, I always was able to play football with the hood kids because I was so good at wide receiver, caught the ball well. Pay always looked like a bunch of hood boys going all out on the football field, plus me. Dodgeball. Fat kid with unusually high count of fast twitch muscle fiber and amazing hand-eye coordination from years of video games. They laughed the first game. They didn't laugh again. Every ball was thrown with the rage of 10,000 fat jokes. I hurt people that day. I was never not first pick, and won nearly every match. I never even tried to get the ball first. You can throw yourself out. Then high school happened and we didn't play dodgeball anymore. Frick high school. Javelin. Was the absolute worst at everything else I tried, still am, really, and I'd pretty sure my gym teachers gave up on me. I didn't even know javelin throwing existed till that class, but I got invited to the weekly practice and off I went. I wasn't great at it, but I was more competent than the others in my pay class, some of whom went on to get sports scholarships, so I was pretty proud of that. You know, for the few months I had left before I graduated. Badminton. A classmate and I were the only 2 that could actually hit it, so we got put on a team. It was sort of fun. We'd wait until the opposing team managed to serve it, then hit it back and watch it hit the ground. Eventually we got to play each other to see who the ultimate badminton champion was, not me, lol. I wouldn't say I am really good at it, but taking into account basically the same thing happened several years later in high school, I'd say I'm at least above average. We used to play kickball, which is a soccer game with rules of baseball. You don't really have to practice the kick 'cause a soccer is much larger than a baseball, and everyone just need to aim for the right angles and kick as hard as they can, as far as they can, and run for bases. Every time I kicked, I did a bunt. It would always be a guaranteed one base hit, 'cause even if I ran slow, a soccer ball throw travels much slower than a baseball's. Long jump. I was a tiny kid, before my late growth spurt, the kind of kid everyone would rest on their head and shoulders. We were practicing one afternoon in PE class and I very quickly went from jumping only about a meter or two to jumping lengths that the uber tall kids were jumping. I think I came second or third in my class of about 25, but I was the smallest girl there. Don't know how, don't ask me. Magic. Dodgeball. Well, the dodging part at least, couldn't throw for squat. I was like, okay, you smarmy sons of bitches, you are not hitting me today, and I turned into a frigging ninja lol, until near the end when I realized we hadn't taken out enough of the other team and it was me and a couple dudes left on mine. I got pelted. Still worth it to see so many dum-dums miss me that many times. Talk shat but aim like a Star Wars trooper. Thanks for watching this auto-generated video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I upload videos like this one daily. I put a lot of time into developing this video generator, but if there have been errors, please tell me in the comments below. Also leave me a link to another thread you would like to see a video about. Have a great day, Alex.